amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed.
Well, thank you for still remaining with us. And we're going straight to our issues. We'll still be looking at security matters too, as we have a senior lawyer in the studio with us. We'll look at that, the impeachment, as well as look at the issue that we'll be talking on tonight. But let's quickly let you know that the comments credited to INEC National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education, Barrister Festus Okoye, has been generating reactions from Nigeria, especially senior lawyers. A senior advocate of Nigeria and the constitutional lawyer, Michael Zekome, wrote a piece titled, "Are INEC resident commissioners homeless bats?" He completely disagreed with the stance of INEC on the place of the resident electoral commissioners, REC, in the organogram and scheme of things concerning the electoral process in Nigeria. He went further to say, and I quote, let's quickly take this. He said that, first of all, the title, he went to say, yes, he asked the question, are INEC resident commissioners homeless bats, which we earlier mentioned. And he said, he completely said that it can also have the unintended consequences of self-immolation, which can self-destruct. It amounts, in my humble view, to saying that the RECs, who are constitutionally credited across the 36 states of Nigeria simultaneously, and indeed under the same sections with the INEC chairman and 12 national commissioners, that Okoye Hampton are no more than mere appendages to INEC headquarters, and therefore toothless bulldogs and amoebic bats that neither belong to the animal kingdom nor the bird's kingdom. End of quotes. Let me take that again, because I think I made some little mistake in the reading. It amounts, in my humble view, to saying that the RECs, who are constitutionally created across the 36 states of Nigeria, simultaneously and indeed under the same sections with the INEC chairman and 12 national commissioners, that Okoye Hampton are no more than mere appendages to INEC headquarters, and therefore toothless bulldogs and amoebic bats that neither belong to the animal kingdom nor the bird's kingdom. End of quotes. Well, we invited the senior lawyer, the senior advocate of Nigeria, and he's with us here in the studio. We have here Chief Mike Zekome, a constitutional lawyer and a civil rights activist. Thank you so much and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Ijoma, and welcome viewers.
Okay. Now, before we go into this issue of RECs, INEC, and the law, let's just quickly delve into what's going on in Nigeria now. It's everywhere. The minority group in both chambers of the National Assembly are already issuing 6 weeks to Mr. President to do something about the case of insecurity or the rise being impeached. And they said they will do that constitutionally. Do they have the numbers?
They may not have the number. Like the presidential spokesperson, additional, dared them. He said, oh, they are minorities within minorities. He is daring them because he feels they do not have enough strong balls to carry out their threat. Because like I've said again and again, the Ninth Senate of the National Assembly, as far as I'm concerned, and I want to be faulted historically, is the most infirm and the worst of all the senates we have had since the time of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the first Senate president, up to the time of Dr. Nwafo Urizo, from whom the military seized powers through Major Kaduna Uzogu Chukwuma on the 15th of January 1966. I call this Senate Mr. Tekebao Senate. Why do I call them that? When people come before them to be screened for serious offices like ministers and matters concerning the security architecture of Nigeria, They say, your name is Michael Zekome. You say, oh, we know you. Please take a bow and go. You do not, those people are not interrogated. What do you want to do for this country? Because of that, you cannot compare the 9th Senate with the 8th Senate of the National Assembly, because that one was a roaring tiger and it was biting. This one neither roars, not to talk of biting. It castrated itself from day one when they made the statement to the Senate President that anything Mr. President asks for or asks of, we will do. So when I saw them roaring yesterday, I said, oh, finally the chicken has come home to roost. When the house is on fire, you do not need to tell the deaf. He will hear the cracking of the fire, nor the blind. He will be seeing the flashes, nor the numb. He will feel the heat. So now that the house is on fire, and they were mocked by the presidential spokesperson. He said maybe they are talking now because they feel that the marauders are now close to the federal capital territory. We should be worrisome. He was dismissing in a most cavalier manner a serious constitutional crisis that should even call on Mr. President under Section 305 of the Constitution to declare a state of emergency because of the clear and present danger, which is like Nigeria at war. Because the president has the powers under Sections 217 and 218 as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who also controls the Nigerian police force under Sections 214 and 215 of the Constitution. And because of that, only he can deploy the military. And if the presidency or Mr. President is rigging his hands, throwing his hands up in helplessness, what do you want the common man and the common woman to do? So I think the first way to go about it for Mr. President, who was overwhelmingly brought into office with some people riding a bicycle from Lagos to Abuja, another one bicycle from Kaduna to Abuja, to celebrate him. His promise was, as a retired military general and a former state administrator and a former head of state, I will, that is between December 31, 1983 and August 28, 1985, when he was overthrown by IBB, say, I will lead from the front. Nigerians believe him that, oh, he was going to give us security. But what we have had is the exact opposite. We have not been able to even enjoy suffering the fate of the Baba's chair. The fate of the Baba's chair is perpetual motion on its axis. What we have been having is rather a state of retrogression, going back in terms of security, in terms of economy, in terms of corruption. And today, we are the poverty capital of the world. We are one of the most insecure or unsecured territories across the world. We are one of the most corrupt nations on earth. 148 out of 118 investigated by Transparency International under its Transparency Corruption Perception Index, and the second most corrupt country in West Africa, where Nigeria was a rebased economy by 2014-2015 with over $500 billion rebased economy, overtaking South Africa. Today, where are we? We are now borrowing to service our debts. It's the most dangerous thing to do, to borrow to service your debt. In other words, we are not yet paying the main debt. We are just servicing. So to service, we borrow to service. Of our budget, over 80% is used for recurrent expenditure, and the remaining maybe 20 to 25% is used for recurrent expenditure.
And even the debt profile is more than our revenue.
In fact, the debt profile today is more than our revenue. So this government, we have borrowed.
So does that mean that
for the next 3 to 4 generations?
So does that mean that Nigeria is broke as it is now?
Broke? That's another statement. Is it because we are not using the real word, recession?
Oh,
because we don't want to use the real world recession, even depression. Go and ask President David Eisenhower of America what he did when there was one in America. Great presidents are known when a country is traumatized and is in trouble. Harry Truman, a former president of America, says the buck stops here.
Yes.
So when I hear people pass the buck, everybody goes around Mr. President. It's either Mr. A did it or a good president appoints good minister. He was just changing the ministers about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some of these ministers had no business being in this government in the last 2.5 years. And we have seen insecurity growing from strength to strength, almost putting Nigeria in a state of a failed state. And a failed state, some of the ingredients are not just corruption and poor economy, but when non-state actors begin to challenge the sovereignty and suzerainty of a legitimately elected government, such as the armed bandits have been doing, such as the kidnappers have been doing, kidnappers who will take away people's children, detain them, and dictate to the parents to bring bags of salt, rice, beans, tatache, tarodo, tomatoes, onions, gari, vegetable oil, palm oil, to be able to feed these children, to keep them alive for the purpose of ransom being paid. Didn't you hear the governor of Niger State and even of Borno State cry out? There are some swaths of land, some local governments have been taken over by terrorists, planting flags on the soil of Nigeria, challenging Nigeria's sovereignty,
and we have a
and then collecting tax from indigenous and giving them passes. I want you to know, to tell me, these are not indices of a free state.
Okay, Chief,
just give me, tell me.
Chief, you know, let's now take it to the Constitution, Chapter 2, Section 14.
Yeah.
Talked about the
primary purpose of government.
And if this
is to provide security and welfare for the people.
And if they don't do that, are they not going against the Constitution?
Of course, it's unconstitutional. It's even an impeachable offense that you cannot provide security and welfare for your people. And when you look at Section 43 of the Constitution, the equivalent for state governors is Section 188 dealing with impeachment.
Yes. They
say for any what the lawmakers consider to be grave misconduct in their own opinion, and a breach of the Constitution is grave misconduct for which impeachment can be. So I know the impeachment will not say true.
Okay,
because of the 109 senators. Majority are still within the APC, although some handful of APC senators worked out with the PDP and some handful of APGA and other political parties. But even if they muster the one-third to start the impeachment proceedings, the process, and then the CJ and the Chief Justice of Nigeria is called in to set up a 7-man panel, the question is, at the end of the day, will they be able to muster two-third majority vote of the Senate to impeach Mr. President? So I cannot see that happening, and that is why the presidential spokesperson will mock the senators. He said, "Oh, they are minority within a minority. The minority can always say what they want to say, but the majority will have their way." Hello, did presidential spokespeople ever hear the words of that great German cleric who watched the atrocities of the Second World War, Martin Niemöller, between 1940 and 1945, when the Jews were being killed in their millions in gas chambers of the Brigade of Gas, being killed right here in Buhari. Buhari is less than how many kilometers from the city center? And then they are saying it was killed by a sniper. Whatever, whether by a rabbit, a sniper, or a vulture, the important thing is that is a challenge, that is a breach of our security apparatus and architecture, which the government should now wake up to. So what I expect Mr. President to do now, I know Mr. President is overwhelmed, but you must remember Harry Truman, the great American president. The buck stops here. The first thing he has to do is to balm frayed nerves, give hope to Nigeria, tell Nigerians, I want you to see the cup as half full, not as half empty. I was elected to be your president and guardian. I promise you that in the next remaining 10 months, I will give you security and welfare. Go about your normal duties. Then you hold your meetings with your National Defense Council, National Security Council, of which he is actually the chairman
of the council,
and he controls the military under sections 217 and 218 of the Constitution. He can declare a state of emergency under section 305. He controls the Nigerian Police Force under sections 214 and 215 of the Constitution. So all in all, Mr. President is an executive president. So he is the be-all and the end-all of Nigeria. He approximates Nigeria. That is why he could appoint the entire security apparatus from one section of the country, mostly from one religion, and he could not be challenged, even though it was ugly. It was not democratically and politically wise.
All right.
Because an executive president is more or less like a maximum president. The doctrine of separation of powers, ably propounded by Baron de Montesquieu, a great French philosopher in 1748, may not necessarily work in an executive presidency, because the judiciary is the first casualty, being the weakest of the three arms of government, as Alexander Hamilton, a great federalist, once put it in his Federalist paper number 78.
All right.
I don't want to paint a picture of gloom. I just want to tell Nigerians that at the end of the tunnel,
there will be sunshine.
There's light.
Exactly.
Nigerians are the best. See this young lady, Tobia Musa.
Oh yes,
broke the water 2 times in 2 days, 12.12 seconds, and then 12.06. They said the last one would not be counted because it was wind aided. Whether it was fire aided, wind aided, sand aided, gravel aided, the important thing is that she broke the world record 2 times in 2 days. That is the spirit of the Nigerian. Indomitable, unconquerable, enduring. Nigerians, have hope in the system. Prepare your PVCs. Go to the polls February next year. Vote in a government. First, ask the presidential candidates, what is your take on restructuring this federation, which is a unitary system of government, which is not a federal system of government? Let us know your take. Are you going to restructure Nigeria, or you want Nigeria to remain and you continue to cure a serious ailment like leprosy with medicine meant for eczema, or you want us to start from brass tacks, like Naaman the leper that dipped himself into River Jordan 7 times and became cleansed of his leprosy? These are the questions.
All right, Chief, you know, if we leave you to continue because of what is going on in this country, I can see that it's already there. Let's now go to the issue. You talked about election and how Nigerians should bring out their PVCs and take a decision on what to do to end all this problem. But there's a challenge. Yeah. Some of them are not too happy with what they see on a daily basis. Yeah. And there is this feeling of discontent for the electoral body. Yeah. I'm saying this because I'm referring you to what the National Commissioner said on this program last night, where he said that the resident electoral commissioners are not statutory members of INEC. So if the recs are not members of the commission as canvassed by the National Commissioner, what are they?
That's the question. I was my very good friend for more than 30 years, Festus Okoye. I listened to him. I also listened to Amadi on your program last night. I listened to some callers, I think one from Buhari, one from and it was those callers and Amadi that got it. I disagree with my very good friend Festus Okoye. And that was why in my write-up that you read, I said, who are the recs? They are not staff of INEC. Recs were appointed by Mr. President, subject to Senate confirmation under Section 14,
of the
Part 1 of the 3rd schedule to the Constitution. The chairman are the 12 National Electoral Commissioners under Section 1. The resident electoral commissioners under subsection 3. So they were both created under the same section. They drink from the same stream. They breathe the same oxygen. So I ask the question, if you say people who were created with you at the same time and sent to the 36 states and FCT, because Nigeria under section 2, subsection 3 of the Constitution is made up of 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. If they are not INEC, then can you have an INEC without a neck? That was why I described them. Are they the proverbial bats? Do you know the story of the proverbial bat, Ijoma? The bat went to the animal kingdom and said, I'm one of you. The animals told him, you can't be one of us. You have feathers. We saw you yesterday flying with the birds. The bat said, I want to tell you that I'm one of you. I'm an animal. They say, how? He said, look at my teeth. The mouth of the bat, if you open it, it has incisors, canines, molars, and premolars, like a human being. You think, if a bat opens its mouth, you think it's a human being. He said, you want to doubt me? Check my pinna, my ears. The bat has ears like a human being. Shockingly, he said, look at my mammary glands. The bat has breast like a woman. He said, so I'm one of you. The animals say, okay, we believe you. Join us. They sat ate together. The following day, the bat went to the bears. I said, I'm one of you. The bears say, you must be joking. We saw you yesterday in the animal kingdom. So we believe we have donated you to them. He said, no. Your greatest attribute is that you can fly. And I can fly. Let us take a test. So they both, all of them flew, and the bat even beat them. So the bat became a hermaphrodite, belonging neither to the animal kingdom nor to the bears kingdom. The resident electoral commissioner is not a staff of INEC. He enjoys constitutional and statutory appointment by Mr. President himself. And it can also only be removed by Mr. President himself, like the national chairman and the 12 national commissioners, by 2/3 majority of the Senate sitting and voting. So he goes to the state. Yes, as they are going to the states, what are they going to do? It is now for the commission, headed by the chairman, to say, you are going to these states now. Go ye and monitor and supervise and administer the elections in these 36 states, under section 15, subsection H. So that is not a big deal, which is what I had my friends saying, that they are mere agents. Now, question. Let us even assume they are not just mere agents. They are even ordinary messengers, yes, even though they were created by you. If you send a messenger to go for a message, and he now delivers the message for you, won't you follow his message? Are you going to discard the message and say the 1 to 3 officers that you send from the national headquarters to help monitor in elections, who must come with a letter to be submitted to the resident electoral commissioner for him to even believe that he's actually from the headquarters, and those people must work under the HOD of the state.
What happens to be the REC?
Set up by the REC.
Okay.
No, the HOD is even under
the REC.
The REC is Ogakpata of the state. So the HOD, the messengers or the representative coming for the national headquarters, all of them come and they work under the HOD in a state to make sure that elections are well conducted. And when they bring all their reports, they all sit down to analyze, to discuss in the presence of the REC, who must himself be fully involved. Don't forget that the 12 national commissioners and the chairman are in Abuja, mostly, usually administratively engaged to see the results coming in and all that.
From the states? From the states.
Now, these people, it is when they write all their reports, they have their meeting, that the REC will sit down with the HOD, with the representatives of from the headquarters, and the EPN, that they call them EPN, election political monitoring group. Yes. They will sit down, all the results they have had, they will distill them, aggregate them, and agree that these are the results. They will all sign. At that stage, let me warn, even the REC cannot change the results, cannot change what has been found. All he has to do is to sign them as the Ogakpata of that place,
and they forward to the national.
Forward with a forwarding letter to the national headquarters. Says, sir, these are the results from the state.
Okay.
And section 29.
That's where I'm even going to.
Section 1.
Yes, that's where I was even going to. Because one aspirant came to me this evening.
Yes.
I think the person is from one of the state constituencies in Kogi State. Let me just quickly, because I had to take that. His name is Emmanuel Adukwe. He's a physically challenged, and he's from Ankpa 1 state constituency of Kogi State, and came with a report that INEC published the name of somebody who came out second in the party primaries.
Yeah.
He didn't just come alone to do that report, and brought out video evidence
excuse me,
of what they had done that day and the declaration of the result. So this is happening in almost over 50% of some of the states. The names published by the national is quite different from the report sent to the national.
In my article, I call it a tendency towards self-immolation, which can self-destruct. It will show the world we have to be very careful. INEC has to know that it is a very sensitive institution created under Section 153 of the Constitution, like the National Population Commission, the National Security Council, the National Council of States, the National Judicial Committee, NJC, the Federal Judicial Service Commission, the Federal Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. All these are sensitive, but of all of them, INEC, NJC, National Population Commission, must, for them to even be appointed, the president must refer their case specially to the Council of States because of their sensitive nature. That is why INEC must be seen to be independent and free of any external interference. And the first way to go about it is to show that they have one house, because a house divided against itself cannot stand. You cannot defang and diminish the importance of your resident electoral commissioners, who is your eyes and your nose and your ears and your feet on the ground, because you cannot move INEC or the commission as an inanimate object to go from one state to another. It was based on that the lawmakers under Section 14(3) created the resident electoral commissioners as they did under Section 41 of the first of the third schedule, yes, of Section 1 of the first of the third schedule to the Constitution. So they were created together because they know they have their job to do. If you defang them, it will be self-immolation. So I've seen a situation where INEC, that has been empowered by the Constitution and by the new Electoral Act to say go ye, roar and bite. They are almost saying no, we cannot, we don't want to roar, we don't want to bite. Under Section 29 subsection 1, he said they must monitor election and the results that come from the election, that come from them, from the political parties, must come from a valid,
that's what
primary. Valid,
yes,
that's the word, valid primary. And you know what? Section 84 subsection 13 for the first time gave INEC fangs, teeth. I say you bite. If those results do not come from a valid primary, reject the candidates that have emerged from them. Indeed, under Section 84 subsection 8, find that political party 10 million naira,
yes,
for putting forward a candidate that didn't emerge from a valid primary. In other words, primaries, nomination, selection, election are no longer domestic affairs of the political parties as it was under the 2010 Electoral Act as amended. They can now be subjected to the acid test of judicial review under Section 84 subsection 14 of the Electoral Act. Anybody, even Section 29 subsection 5 and 6, any applicant or candidate who believes that the emergence of a particular candidate was invalid due to maybe declaration of false results, or giving false affidavit, or giving false information in the affidavit, which is now, I think, starting from EC 9 to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, formerly called from CFO01, any information that is false, any aspirant can go to court under section 29 subsection 5 and 6 and under section 84 14 and challenge that result. That means what the lawmakers are saying is that the emergence of a candidate is no longer a mere domestic affair
of the political party.
But INEC now has powers to do that. We have seen your candidate, although Mr. Chairman, sir, although only you have the special code that can download for us candidates that emerge from your primaries. Hello, we have the report here of our resident electoral commissioner telling us who won the election. The person you are submitting as your candidate, like the man you talked about, the physically challenged person, he's the person who won. It's not the one you are giving us his name. Here are the videos. This is the REC signing. These are big people we send from headquarters. Signing the HOD, yes. The EPM, they have all signed. Because of that, we are even finding you political party, not only disqualify you, we are finding you 10 million naira. But
subsection 8 is saying. But let me come in here, because when we spoke with that REC last night, he made a statement that it is not in all cases that they are not bound to accepting the reports coming from the RECs.
But they're wrong.
Probably because they may have, they may feel that the RECs are compromised.
In what way? Then you prove it. You sent a message. If you feel the messenger is not doing well, remove him. How can you disapprove of your messenger's report that you have appointed to go to the particular state under section 15 subsection H? You now say the report you have given to me, which was signed not just by the REC. The REC is merely the organ finally signing. It was signed by the HOD and
those who want to monitor, yes.
The EPM from the national headquarters. How can you discard it and then take that of who? From the spirit world, from the land of the dead? That is wrong.
Okay, so
that is why I say INEC should not self-immolate, should not self-destruct.
Chief, let's
go. Have enough teeth to bite.
Okay, let's
take that political party, bite the candidate, disqualify them. That's what the Electoral says.
Let's go to what is going on in Delta as well as Akwa Ibom. The Delta State issue. There is a court order there. Which says that Ebevi should replace Sheriff.
Yeah.
But INEC left the PDP side blank.
Yeah.
And the court order was strictly directed to INEC. It was a declaratory order to INEC and the PDP to replace the name of the winner with that of the second runner-up because they found discrepancies in the results.
Yeah, I think there's a problem there.
Okay.
By God's grace, I'm a constitutional lawyer by the grace of God. I'm also, with all humility, I can say I'm a specialist in election petitions by the grace of God, without meaning to hype my importance. It depends on what the lawyers were claiming. If they were claiming mere declaratory reliefs, a declaratory relief merely declares. It does not compel the doing or the refusal to do anything.
Okay.
And it also depends on if the people against whom the order was made have gone on appeal and have filed a motion for stay of execution and served all the other parties. In such a case, I will not blame INEC for deciding to maintain neutrality by saying, hello, you have gone to court under section 84 subsection 15 of the Electoral Act. Go and fight your battles in the courts of law. And whoever finally wins, come back to us and we put his name. I think that is a different ball game entirely. Yes, I would.
So INEC is not wrong.
I wouldn't blame INEC there, because once a matter, we call it the doctrine of least spenders, and in the case of government of Lagos State versus Ojukwu, the Supreme Court told us that when there is a case between two parties and each of them has responded, even if an injunction be not granted, none of the parties should take any step in the matter because we may not know the consequences, the final result.
Yeah.
So if INEC were to declare, I don't know their names, in name A or name B, the winner, because the political party says that, and later the court says no, you are wrong, that will cause more confusion.
Yeah.
So I think in that case, if you ask me, I analyze events very objectively and with the fear of God at heart. In such a case, I do not see INEC being wrong by saying, let us wait and see the final outcome of this case in court of law.
But let's also go back to that of Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
Because the story, the reports that we received from Akwa Ibom is that they have a court paper, but they collected a CTC that has a result that is different from the reports that came from the states. So in the case of that, they went to INEC, they collected a CTC with a result that is totally different.
Yeah, where did INEC get that one?
That is the question.
That is the question. So where did INEC get that one from? I don't want to use the word manufacturer, I'm sorry. I don't use such words. I respect public institutions because it is the degradation of our public institutions and the building of strong men that have brought us to where we are today. So you will never hear me speak foul or evil of a public institution. But the question will be, where did INEC get that different from the report forwarded officially certified by the state rec, which was contributed to by the HOD and the EPM of the entire conglomerate, the Dolly Party's coat of many colors, even from the headquarters that monitored that election and agreed on certain results. Where did they get the onus will be on them to show where they got that one from.
Okay, there's another twist to that Akwa Ibom story. It says that out of 26 candidates that emerged from the party primaries, that was monitored by INEC officials in the state, and those that came from the headquarters, the only particulars of 2 that were published, and 24 others are not part of the primaries, but yet there is tendency that the 26 candidates may be.
Let me tell you, I think INEC is inviting too many litigation suits. They are not immune against being sued. Of course, they can be sued. The court has jurisdiction, both under Section 6 of the Constitution, under Section 84 of the Electoral Act, and under several sections. And they can be sued with the candidate who believe he had emerged, suing the wrongful candidate who was taken there or who was dropped, and then joining INEC as a party and saying, you did me wrong. That is not the candidate that emerged. In other words, primaries now are so important more than ever before because they give rise to the candidate. You cannot have akara and momo without first having beans. Beans is the mother of akara.
But that's explanation. That explanation is taking us to the Section 115 that has become an argument. People are saying it's candidates, it's not aspirants, and all that.
Listen, how do you have a candidate if he does not emerge being an aspirant? You have to be an aspirant before you can be a candidate. For you to be a bishop, you have to first be a priest. For you to be a priest, you have to first go through the minor and major seminaries for 6 to 8 years, very rigorously, studying philosophy, logic, religious studies, and even science. Then you are consecrated, or rather you are ordained as a reverend priest. Then you spend about 10 to 15 to 12 years, then you become a monsignor. Then later a bishop. You don't just become a bishop, you don't become the pope overnight. There have been 266 popes since St. Peter's in the Christendom.
Chief,
none of them became a pope suddenly from the blues.
So that means those who collected 2 nomination forms in one constituency election, that's in one election, 2023 election, they're liable to go to jail.
I wouldn't use such strong words
because it's written in our
I wouldn't use such strong words. I would rather say people who are aggrieved should go to court. Let the court make the pronouncement. I'm a child of constitutionalism. If you are not supposed to collect, for example, if you participated in a primary, and we all watch you, the whole world watch you, other clear lights, other television, other social media, other electronic media, other the print media, and then suddenly you emerge later. I say I've now emerged from this. Mind you, under section 31 of the Electoral Act, a candidate who has emerged from a valid primary can voluntarily withdraw.
Yes,
by writing a letter to his political party, which the political party will carry to the commission and say, I am withdrawing.
Yes.
But in such a case, let me shock Nigerian. Under section 285, subsection 14, I think section 285, subsection 14 of the Constitution, of the fourth alteration, that political party must still quickly hold
another primary, because the section which is equivalent to the former section 141 of the defunct Electoral Act says for a candidate to emerge as a winner in any election, he must have participated in all stages. So if you cannot show that you participated in a primary, then you can't be a candidate.
Yes, thank God they still have the opportunity between now and I think August, sometime in August, for them to put their house in order. Otherwise, they labor in vain.
Thank you so much.
Past land that has neither manure
I think
nor fertilizer.
We need to have this discussion again. But let me quickly take this before we go. Our time is up. The representation made by the INEC National Commissioner are very curious and unbecoming of an umpire. What interest is he promoting? He has invalidated all elections handled by state reg by his unguarded postulations. Okoye has taken that step, and he said again, what is INEC's interest? And this is coming from Livingston Witches. So that's the much we can say. Thank you.
Add this one. Under section 155, 156, 157 of the Constitution that we are talking about, both the reg, and the chairman and member, all of them are subjected to the same tenure of office, the same business, the same disabilities, the same qualifications. None of them is bigger than the other.
Thank you so much, Chief Ozakome, and thank you so much. We appreciate.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.